Hi, friends. It's Mrs. McCarver, and it's time for today's reading lesson. Yesterday, we started to talk about how we've been noticing that we have some harder patterns in our book, like patterns that are longer with more words, and patterns that have changes in different places, like the beginning or the middle of the sentence, not just the end. So today, I have another type of pattern that's a little bit harder that I want to talk about. I want to talk about patterns that have two parts. Sometimes we call this a seesaw pattern. Do you know what a seesaw is? Something you might find at the playground? It's like this bench that two people sit on, and it goes up and down. You take turns going back and forth, who's up and who's down. It's a seesaw. Sometimes we see a pattern that goes back and forth like that in our book. So today I have a book called At the Farm where we see one of these patterns. Let's look at this book to see what it looks like, and that way you can look for it too. So here's my book, At the Farm. Now remember, I said this book has a little bit of a harder or trickier pattern in it. So we're going to figure out how we read a book like that. At the Farm. It starts out pretty easy. A cat is at the farm. Not too many words, and there's only one sentence. I'm ready to go. I bet there's another animal on the next page. Wait a second. It's a cat again. A cat is at the farm. So it doesn't say that again, does it? This pattern has changed already. Maybe this isn't even a pattern book. I might feel like I don't know what to do. But let's read this page and see what comes next. And a little kitten is at the farm too. Okay, so that sentence was different. Let's go to the next page. Do any of these words look familiar, like we've seen them on another page? It looks familiar to me. It says, a dog is at the farm. That reminds me of the first page where it said, a cat is at the farm. So I heard that, and then I heard a different sentence on the second page. But then I went back to the first sentence. Let's see if we go back to the next sentence that we heard, the one we heard on the second page. Look, it is the same. I'm seeing words that repeat. And a little puppy is at the farm too. Let's think about the story. It told us the animal you see on the farm, and then it tells you about the baby animal, a cat, and then a kitten. Okay, so then we met the dog, and then the baby dog or the puppy. This pattern is going back and forth across two pages. So, what do we think we'll see on the next page? This helps us to make a prediction about the words we're going to see. Oh, it's going to tell us about the animal we see. A duck is at the farm. Do you remember what will happen next? We're going back and forth. First, it told us about the animal we see. Then it tells us about the baby animal. Then we met a new animal, and it told us about the baby animal. Now we met a new animal, the duck. I bet that's right. The baby duck is there. And a little duckling is at the farm too. That's an example of what we would call a two-part pattern or a seesaw pattern because it was going back and forth across the pages. We had one sentence and then a second type of sentence. Then we went back to the first sentence and then the second type of sentence. Back to the first sentence, then the second type of sentence. So sometimes we can notice a pattern really quickly. The words repeat on every page. But sometimes we have to read a little bit farther into the book and notice where words are repeating. So today as you're reading, I need you to look really closely at the words on all the pages. Keep looking for a pattern, even if you don't notice one right away. You might find it after you read a few pages.